Okay, here are some examples of the Pythagorean theorem. We know it's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And on your worksheet you have, this is due on Monday, all of those were easy because they all were finding c. So I'm going to do some examples here that are not all finding c. Okay, so if you look in the very first one, c is actually 12. And then we have 9, and then we're finding the variable y. Okay, and then we have a second problem, which these are like some of you have on con right now. We have y as the shortest side, 13 is the c, and then the other side is the square root of 48. So here's how you solve these. So you're going to really solve them backwards because you already know c on the first one. So it's 12 squared minus 9 squared equals y. So I know that 12 squared is 144 minus 9 squared, which is 81. And I can do that in my head right now. Yeah, I can. So 4 minus 1 is 3. And then 14 minus 8 is 6. So that's y equals 63. But we have to know what the square root of 63 is. And it does say round to the nearest tenth. Okay, so we know if it gives us that hint that we're going to round to the nearest tenth. It kind of gives it away. So I'm going to put the square root of 63 in my calculator. And I get 7.9. Okay, the number behind the 9 is a 3, so I do not round it up. Do not forget to do this step. Do not forget to take the square root. Okay, that's a very important step. Okay, so now 13 is the hypotenuse. And we're going to subtract the square root of 48. We got to square that, so that's going to get rid of that square root sign. And we're going to have to find y squared. So I know that 13 squared is 169. And anytime you square something, it gets rid of that square root sign. I know you're just learning this. So that would be minus 48. So that would be 9. And see, want to make sure I have the right 169 minus 48 is, that's not right. 121. And then we have to take the square root of that, because right now we have y squared. And of course the square root, that's a perfect square, okay? So the answer is 11, because 11 times 11 is 121. Okay. Okay, I know that some of you have had this on Khan Academy. It's asked if these are right triangles. So they give you 3 links and they give them to you in order. So A is the first one listed as A, the second one listed as B, and the last one listed is supposed to be the hypotenuse. It's supposed to be the longest side. Okay, so to check to see if it's a right triangle, you have to have the right side equal, the left side equal to the right side. Looking at you backwards. So we have to take 13, square root of 13 to square it. Okay, my numbers are square root of 13, 7, and 8. So you can do this with me. Okay, so I'll pause a minute. So again, the square root of 13 squared plus 7 squared should equal 8 squared if it is a right triangle. So that squared gets rid of that square root. So this is 13. And then 7 squared is 49. And 8 squared is 64. So 13 plus 49 equals 62. Okay, so it is not a right triangle. So 62 does not equal 64. So that one is not a right triangle. That's like we had on that our morning work that we had our bell ringers. Okay, now we're going to check our last one, and the numbers are 2, 8, and the square root of 89. So 2 squared plus 8 squared should equal, when we take the square root of that, it goes away, should equal 89. Yeah. And what I know from about numbers, I know that's not going to work. So we have 2 squared, which is 4. And we have 8 squared, which is 64. And if I take the square root of 89 and I get rid of the square root sign, that's 89. And 4 plus 64 is 68, not 89. So that is not a right triangle. Okay? All right, so that's some extra tips and extra practice with the Pythagorean theorem. We will be practicing that again on Monday when we return to school. Have a great weekend. Hopefully you're enjoying the snow. I don't like cold weather. I'd rather be on the beach. Okay, have a good night.